pretty sure the exit wasn't this side. The path towards your heart is tangled up like wild vines. And every turn I take, the deeper I feel lost. Don't make it so hard. I feel like I'm right back at the start of this maze. I'm giving you my all. I'm racing like a dirt fight. I see you now and you see me now. Run with me now. Together we shine. My heart feels like oh. Together we fly. Oh high, sky high, all the way oh. Together we shine. I am with you, only to be sure. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, maybe a smaller or smart I see on you. Oh, crazy misunderstandings. Oh, hazy. I don't know what's going inside your mind. Never felt so lost, so lately. Try to take a peek inside and oh, lazy. Still confusing, so daily. I wonder if I am inside your heart. I want to hold you. Of course I know that you want to be with me is sincere. I won't make it so hard. Just make a start and I'll help you out of this maze. I'm giving you my all. I'm racing like a dirt fight. I see you now and you see me now. Run with me now. Together we shine. My heart feels like oh. Together we fly. Oh high, sky high, all the way oh. Together we shine. I am with you, only to be sure. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hello? Hello? Hold on, I was I did truthfully I forgot I was doing for a second. I forgot I was vibing to the music. But anyways, hold on. Yes, we are back with more Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time we left off, Lord Vanzies has been made prime suspect in the murder of Inspector Gregson Egads. So now, after not really, I was gonna say grueling, not really grueling, but after a trying time getting him to agree to let us defend him, he said yes. But so we're gonna defend him, but the prosecutor of this case is going to be dun, dun, dun. So that's the person who is the person who, the reason why we're even a defense attorney to begin with. We're going up against them. There's that old familiar feeling again, the crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There is a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't it? Isn't there? I suppose. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more courtesy, if you please. Oh my, I do apologize. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details. However, I understand that no jury has. Oh, so it's a closed trial. No jury has been selected. A trial without a jury. Well, that's just like the trial of the professor 10 years ago. A close court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, have you made a note of my hair, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Naruhodo, an outright victory for science, you must agree. It's back to normal. It is back to normal. To be perfectly honest, so much happy yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little hair problem. Ah, what to one man is a little hair problem, to another a day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm delighted to see you looking so full of vim. And now you, I see London's celebrated good detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow. Compared to my paltry engagement with a few trivial cases, the Reaper's overbearing presence is far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honor. And that would be your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes, after all, behind this lawyer there is a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I was only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Yeah. Sorry to barge in. Oh. Mikotoba. Professor Mikotoba and Gina. Gina! What's that? What's that in our hand? It's a morning band, I suppose. Father, shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up and coming student in action. Oh brother, oh no. I shall be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Oh god. Odo. Oh, yes, Gina? Why'd you agree to this, eh? Why'd you take him on? This Reaper bloke. Everyone says it was him. It was him what? What killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. Well, if it weren't him, who was it? Well, that's what I don't know. I don't know that yet. But I tend to find out, I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. And if it turns out it was him what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least that may be some solace to the deceased. Please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find out who done this and make the wretch pay. Counsel for defense and the defendant. What would be a session? Yeah, I'll make your way to the courtroom. Oh boy! All right then. Here we go. Time, Mr. Naruhodo. Lord Vanzeeks. Yeah, so no, that means no summation examination in this case. The one who lost his treasured brother to a mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped her escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, and of course to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. That's what he said. No matter what you find, you have to look at it dead on. Reach out to the truth. Do not avert your gaze from what lies in. Nope. Wait, but why does it sound like a public gallery? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant, Derek Van Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and the prosecution, are you ready to begin? Defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Kazuma-sama. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long. It feels... But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind this scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. The truth revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions for the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. Oh, how will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. So, members of the judiciary. Oh my, this is a very unusual. Yeah, this was the same thing, same as the first trial in the first game. There was a closed trial too, and it was the same military only. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect of these proceedings on which I must elaborate. You two, the counsels for the prosecution and defense, are both foreign aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outsider to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain. This is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Asuma? Very well. Let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Osogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. No! The incident took place on first of November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. The Professor case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported at the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. Is this going to be relevant? The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. Oh yeah, scorched by that. Yeah, the minute they just. But the powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see. Yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. Hold on. Let's check it out. So yeah, why is the red hairpiece relevant? Because it has to do something with the members. Victim. Time of death. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord. Not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama. We're not trying to use the gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I've explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There is a candelabrum mounted on that wall, and the tip of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the thorough report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. It's clear to me. You will submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please. As you wish, my lord. Is this Fresno Street room Inspector Gregson's private abode? That's what people were thinking, man. If that's true, then why was that picture here? Hold on, I gotta. Yeah, it's very. No, my lord. The room is rented to a Mr. Hugh Boone, but there is a precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case or other. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside, holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel? Naturally. The accused himself. Lord Van Zieks. As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken, and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well. Let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Barak Van Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard of prosecutors Asogi's opening precis? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime, and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? I was, yes, my lord. And I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing. I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness. So this is a press. Because we don't know I was investigating Gregson, and my query had led me to that address. Why was he investigating? When I first entered that room that day, it was dark inside. It was dark inside, and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Mr. Gregson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth? It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in a room with no living occupant, and moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes? Is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular isn't the word, it's laughable. What's got into Cosmo? He's not behaving like himself at all. Very well then. Counsel, may we begin your cross-examination? Yes, my lord. What were you doing there?
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I did identify a distinct possibility that Grayson was involved in a case I was investigating. Regrettably, though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand then that on the day in question, you were followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements in advance. How? I stole into his office into the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 p.m. entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offense, as it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refused to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors always just freedom to choose what to divulge under oath. Ugh, why did I ever think I could defend this man? When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw a note.
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was all but impossible to make out anything. But at 5 p.m., the sun would only just have gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it was extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room. You say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that that part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk, though I couldn't say for certain. Look, Mr. Haruhodo. There is a small desk in the. Yes, I remember. And there was an oil lamp on it, as well as a famed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and I started towards the desk to investigate. What did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around, saw the revolver on the floor. Okay. So, who fired the gun? That's what I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was a very dark. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is I didn't sense another person's presence. Then could it be that the gunshot actually registered somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh, without doubt, the sound emanated from inside the room. I can smell the gunpowder. This is going from bad to worse. And you say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor? Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hand. In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? Whilst I would like to oblige you with an answer, I'm afraid I can't. I too would dearly like to know that. Saw the revolver on the floor. They said the thing. So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue from Remington Police. Yes, and when I asked about whether the records I came up with are issued to you, I was told that for the past 5 years, they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun, which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. Yeah. Okay, so they have serial numbers. Hey, let's check this thing that's totally not a gun. Oh no, it's not a. Okay.
Hold it!
Man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the boarded window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot. And without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what had happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, and almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in would immediately notice the revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction. Then did the body into the beautiful report.
Hold it!
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain it, but that's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly, there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first. Nothing more. See. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that it was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere. I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Barak Van Zeeks, is lying on multiple fronts. What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel. The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct? No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim. One would assume that the projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, I can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. We could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the other. That must be because the other candle was extinguished when the other was still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out, but the other two candles would still have been burning. So the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by the candelabrum, and the accused claim that he couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. Yeah. And now, to the next lie. There's more. The accused also claims he never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered up top to bottom in police documents and newspaper cuttings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. Uh-oh. We're losing. We're losing wind. Or not that we had any to begin with. He's dominating this trial right now. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they included in a number of reports of various historical cases. The oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all the documents on that board. Indeed, what is this common thread, Counsel? They all relate to cases prosecuted in court by Barack Van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all of those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good Lord. Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Ah. Oh no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout, and it's based. No, we can prove that that's not true. Operations. The Reaper's hideout, and yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout. No one would believe that. No, the truth is, we've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper, and he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout. He was killed, as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. What? What? No, the point. That's our thing. Order, order, order. Very well. I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Barack Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with the prosecutor's Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with the known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Counsel has done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution's case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board you just showed to the court as evidence. I believe you need to be a fundamental in establishing the facts around the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. Oh, wait, no, not everything. No. That's not true. I remember we looked at that earlier. There's a thing. It's not all about the Reaper. The red hair thing is on there too. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is browning with age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same red-headed league advertisement that Mr. Soames had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red hair piece at the scene too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the red-headed league then? So yeah, no. So no, it's not. That's actually not true. Witnesses who saw events unfold on the day in question. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street chillers who heard the gunshot and went running into the room. Yes, very well. Lead the witnesses in. Defendant may step down from the witness stand. Certainly, my lord. Little Red. Beppo's out of money. Oof. So, witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. We're just free and easy. Is that what we like? Live where we want to live? I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares in the street? Why is his neck red? Like he's been a rope around it. Hey, everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits of passerbyers, you know. Jaunty little tidbits. Got an absolute smash for you, sir. Right up your Ginnel, is it? It is? 6 pence is the price, and not a penny less. I'm good, man. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try that, man. Giving them some money and see what it is. You guys? Pay the man, counsel. What the judge? Oh, all right. 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street just had twins. I've just had twins. Dude, I don't. Can I have my money back? Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't in it? It wants to spread, but that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is. If you're curious, nah. I just got scammed. I'm curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit? Oh, I sell these lovely little firecrackers to all the local school kids. Oh my gosh. 6 pence a pop. What do you say? You weren't exaggerating with a little. Do they actually sell? Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers, especially when I tell them that if they get 100, could blow up the school. What? Not the most savory of ideas, young lady. Yeah, don't tell them that. What do you say then? Eh? Want a pop with 6 pence for a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you can blow up the whole courtroom. Dude, buy 100. Yeah, yes, dude, buy one. Try the woman. Guys, give her the money in 60 one. Yo, these two want me to blow the freaking courtroom up. Pay the woman and come to wait, judge wants you to blow the courtroom up. All right, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus special, only 600 pence. No. What was 600? It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing a little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? Beppo. I'm a thinker, me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think. I think. Because I stand there on the street, watching the world go on about me. They call me the observator. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you a sandwich and you know it. So you don't actually sell anything? A problem shared is a problem have, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means. I don't actually sell anything. No, come to think of it. Pity. No more purchases today, please. Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems. Yeah, like always. They conduct their businesses on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see, and thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime. Well, I'll be beggared, I thought. Just between us? Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, playing with our eyes, is any of it real? Okay, Jaden Smith. Easy there. Very well, the court will hear the formal testimony of these 3 witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. I'm gonna call it right now. Gunshot he heard was a firecracker, and since it's a firecracker exploded, there was nothing left behind. It was a single firecracker. Hold on, let me see. No. Can't find. Oh. Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruto? You're sitting at the end of the string of, yo, I'm about to, yo, because he's gonna send it. You're sitting at the end of the string of fireworks. Sorry, it's just that it's a Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like. Please don't. Shall we find out? What? But, she said it could blow up the courtroom. Ah, all right. That was a fairly sizable bang. It's, yeah, almost like a gunshot. My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like a gunshot. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went in the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside. That we all heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Just couldn't wait and go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. It was scared after death, me, so I ran out to find a copper. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barrack Van Zieks. I've seen pictures of the Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folks love stories like this. That made me still a tidy sum already. But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone probably could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied. Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that is currently leased. And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone. The testimony of the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. No. Thank you for your candor, my lord. Counsel for defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses. Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony. Somehow. Okay. Saw the whole thing from start to finish. Did everything the moment they went into the building.
Hold it!
They say they. Who do you mean exactly? Mr. Grayson defended Lord Van Zieks. I suppose so. Lots of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last. That's for sure. That's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. The first fellow must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I've forgotten the fellow with the bright red hair? Huh? Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks even. That fiery red moth still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, is it? Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? He was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well. But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at the photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. and a red hairpiece. Ah, of course. We saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe that Inspector Grigson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? Excuse me. Pee-pee. Damn. The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. What are you talking about? The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene, so it just disappeared. What? You expect us to watch the building every second, do you? Well, you just said you were. We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside. So now we have the picture, we can use it. So it seems to me that quick doctor's picture locked. Stand over the dead body. You know what this? Oh well, they could just say when it was. Again, depending on when this. I guess this. It said there was light, but it doesn't look like to be light in here.
Hold it!
Yeah. By which presumably you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang! It went just like that. Well, though he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what what the French call a fait accompli. When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? Isn't it? I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime. Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive. Great. And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct? No, we can disprove that it's not the thing. Seems to me. Sorry, what do you mean? So when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered. See, all the signs are that I can't, or that I can't move very well. You are way behind, presumably, with that sandwich board you carry around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before? I'm not anybody. Me, the signs are what make me who I am now. I sign, therefore I am. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. Turn down King Henry's pick and back, and the Black Widow's arms is just there. Oh dear, you've made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises. Life is just full of surprises. I ran into the room and here he was, Reaper gun in hand. So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene. Is that right? That I was. Keep the door open like a professional, I did, and yelled out. What's going on here? What's going off here? Lord Vanxies claimed that all he heard was a man scream, though. And was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There was candles burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fellow collapsed on the floor. Just between us is the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Ah, I see. Even though Lord Vanzies claims not to have seen any such light on the walls. The next thing I noticed, it was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Derek Vanzies. That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave the Reaper a cold. Hold on.
Excuse me.
Hold on, you have something to say against that? Do you have something to say, Mr. Sandwich? There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am, just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know what you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remember something. Having heard Mr. Goff's last statement, I mean. What I think is we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're just all street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want to want us to make you into a real sandwich. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean on his backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed. He did? Screamed and he scrambled off on all fours. That's all I wanted to say. Mr. Gossip, is that true? Is this true? The floor was dead slippery and that's why? Planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yeah. Wait, a what? A pool of blood? But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving that Reaper a cold hard stare, and don't you forget it. Let's go back. Just go back up a little. Did you just say you got blood on your hand? I did. It happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it? I was so scared, so I slipped over. We can keep that between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that to your information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witnesses will amend his test. Yeah, nah. Then you do the picture. No, there was. When we went there, we didn't see any blood. Not at the door, not in the thing. We would have noticed that. Yeah, there wasn't no pool of blood.
Objection.
Nope. Nope. Sorry. Oh, you know what? It's the autopsy report, not the picture. It's the autopsy report. It probably didn't say there's no blood.
Objection.
Nope. Okay. No.
Hold it.
Maybe press it. You wiped your hand on the floor? On the floor? Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I'd done it. No, not that. And you didn't think that might be a problem. Doesn't really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor. They get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss. That's the message from all of us. Is something wrong, consuls? Yeah, no, there's no. He said he ripped it on the floor. There was no blood print on the floor. No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor. That's all. Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off on the floor. The blood. I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. So yeah, wait, okay. So he said he wiped it on the floor. But it wasn't this. Maybe it's the floor plan? Actually, maybe it was a floor plan? I don't know. Like, how did he...
Objection.
Nope. Okay, let's get, we're just gonna...
Hold it.
Yeah. So he didn't make the run into the room with your friends. I'm not that sort of girl. Sorry? I'm a timid little thing. Me? I was too scared to go in there. Ah, right. I see. Old Lippy and the witch ran in there, and I heard a sort of old lady scream. Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd take my honor ring. I wondered what on earth was going on, which was when you went in to find a policeman. And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner, so I brought him straight back to the place. Didn't I do well? Eh? Just between us, that copper's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I've never felt more uncomfortable in all my life. And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe. Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was particularly auspicious end. If I can't find any holes in this testimony, I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty. That's not hard. The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning. Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problem with their statements, do there? Still, if Lord Francis really is innocent, then I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up. And one of these I think could be the true culprit. Do you? I don't know. But what I do know is that there's more to this case than has yet to be brought to light. So it's that he got blood on his hand and wiped it on the floor. This is a... Yeah, what it's a... Yeah, oh my gosh, how am I? This is the second time I'm being stumped. The what? Yeah, he said that I slipped on the floor and got thing on my hand. Oh, was it this maybe?
Objection.
No. No. No, it wasn't that. He slipped on the floor and got blood on his hand. Yeah, I did the...
Objection.
Yeah, it wasn't the photo. Yeah,
Objection.
No, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. He slipped and got blood on his hands. But I did do the floor plan already. I did the...
Objection.
No, it's not that. Sorry, this is gonna be me. Because randomly, I don't. Did I miss? Like, did I not press something? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I did everything.
Objection.
Yeah, no, I did everything. No, I'm missing something. No, I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I didn't. There's something I forgot to press. Did I? Did I?
Hold it.
Yeah, I'm here today. No, is it red? It was red. Yeah, it was red. Oh, maybe, you know, maybe I have to check the journal. Maybe I have to check something. Check something. Yeah, you know what? Let me. There's probably something I have to examine. Yeah, probably something I haven't examined yet. There you go. That's what it is. Okay. Oh, what's this? I thought it was Mr. Naruto. Look. Oh, yes. It's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks like a handprint. And the color, that's blood, isn't it? Oh, dear. How disturbing. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, okay. No, I was barking up the wrong tree. No, that wasn't on the floor. So,
Objection.
there you go. So you wiped out the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect you to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection.
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting?
Objection.
If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Yo, tell him, bro! Get him! Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint and blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. Yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Hey, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere.
Objection.
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hands on the floor. Any handprint on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection.
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness the handprint to have ended up there. Just look at this floor plan of the room. The notice board was the opposite corner of the room. Opposite corner of the room to the victim in an upright position, even if it had somewhat been toppled over and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. Yeah, because there's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel, regarding the apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene. I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is claimed by the board moving false testimony. No, but no. No, I think it's not. No, I think the board had moved. We are trying to hear is that the hamper itself, not where it was found. As the clerk can see, it's upside down. Yeah, yeah, it's his right hand upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards. What? What does that tell us? The board was moved. It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? Yeah, it got moved.
Objection.
So it was on the floor at one point. You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we heard so far, we can be very clear on one point, and that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. You know what I noticed? We're not smiling right now. Usually when we get a own on the thing, he's usually smiling, but not right now. So counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? Where was it? Oh, where do I think it was? I have no idea. My guess right now is like maybe behind the door.
Take that.
This is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. His hand would be backed up. I would think the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier. He said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and we couldn't see the body. Bayek, if the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. So that's what are gonna be our thing, is that the reason why he didn't see him because it was behind the board.
Objection.
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him, which also makes sense. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Grayson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor back. Wait, but then how did if he kicked... The door doesn't open that wide. Consider what would happen if the door was still open with force. That can't be. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing about the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ah! Order! Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. Yeah, so someone was in there, into the position where the police, myself and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Witness, what have you to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in this stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. The mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about that their notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about it, anything. I'm just a bystander to me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. I was the Reaper. I bet he's got a face that screams bored. Can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed it, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. You can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right. Yeah, I don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could have possibly have committed this crime is Barak Van Zieks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? Yes, most certainly, my lord. Yeah, of course we do, but very well. Then you may proceed, counsel. Duh, of course we do.
Hold it!
So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on. Admit it. What's to admit? It's there plain and as day for all to see. I smashed and critted my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide the handprint. So you righted the nose board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful, well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel. I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just around the corner, see? These cheeky little so-and-sos got a plan to blow up their school to Kingdom Come. So I've been telling on them. Then their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? That's actually a good thing. Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So I let the school know that the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? Holy, she's finessing it. What? Yeah, that's a racket. What a racket. Of course, and sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a bit of your life selling explosives. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, tell the little bear's lies. Telling barefaced lies is the kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Excuse me.
Hold on. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? Were we gonna be seriously just call him Mr. Sandwich the whole time? If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. If a liar says they're a liar, are they lying? Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one. Don't you think? So basically, yeah. If a liar says I always lie about everything, are they a liar? Was that statement a lie? But it's a truth. So for that statement, they're not telling a lie. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but it seems to me that you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying. Are you? What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. BB Hood situation? And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about. You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means that I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Oh, blabbermouth here, headed for the room where the gunshots seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him too. That's right. That rotten lie over there. Wait, what? You know what? Do you mean to say that you did in fact take yourself to the scene of the crime after all? After just saying in court you didn't go? What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Yes, you mentioned it once or twice, I think. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief. Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah? Either you clearly remember or you don't. Well, I shall consider the fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. Oh my gosh, they're getting, for the time being, you'll immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened. Okay, we need more. Tell us, you make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. That's a lie. If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt. All right, but you did in fact go into the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Yeah, the truth, please. Well, all right, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know? Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. That's a lie. The truth, please. Well, all right, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there's anything I could sell. So I did the case of, I gave the place a once over, but there was nothing to write home about. Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please. As if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I add. The truth, please. Well, all right then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing. Huh? You're telling us you did move that board? I think that did slip out, didn't it? What? You daft bum part. I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please. I should be so lucky in my imagination. The truth now! I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much, is it? So it was you, was it? You're the one who took it. You're the one what took it. Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? That watch there. That was a present to his sister Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come out of the pub. I see. I swiped it off and Watson, and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him. That watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then. It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about it worthless, he called it. Ah, I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted to as evidence of once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough. Add the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. Wait, how old is she? If we know. Are they the same age? Because she's 18. Oh, no, okay, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know how old these guys are. Okay. Good lord. The glass appears to be broken. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. It doesn't stick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh? Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. But then, which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. But then how? Well, it was here that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least. Hold on, before you do say anything, Judgy. The glass on the face is really badly cracked. Look, what a shame. Oh! What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this, a useful man to have around at the back. But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Oh! Here we go. Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here. Can you see? Yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, don't you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine? Wait, why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole. It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we already found. Yeah, okay, so then let's go to this. Okay, now we have the thing. The helmet of the police there. Ah, what's that? It appears to be some sort of key, but it's tiny though. It could be. Not that that's a. What is it for, I wonder? Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for the Inspector Grix's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. Yeah, there's not a moment to lose. I knew it. A perfect fit. And look, it is working. The inspector's watch has started going again. Ah, so it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications. He's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply too. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel. Okay. Okay, so the clock works, but you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know of it, all of it. I had to make my business to know if I wanted to hold my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened. It's not the destination that's important. It's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice the notice board in the room? If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I spotted it, I might have tried to tip it up out of a sense of rivalry. I admit. Somehow, someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now. Don't tell me you not notice it. It looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I can't say I'd ever noticed. I tell you one thing for free, though. I never took eyes off that man on the floor or off the Reaper, not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feeling like that might do if you look away, do you? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it. If he had heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we cleared that up. What happened to the face of the screen? Face that screen's board. I feel your pain, Kazuma. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard a loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe it fell. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of that gunshot we all heard. So if your fate's sealed too, my fate. That's right. Defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution is to win. In other words, it's all hinged on that single gunshot. So if I could just raise this time to run with that part of the story, it may be possible to change all. Of course, nothing of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But did it happen after the event or so? Maybe Kazuma is right, and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there is some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt that there are some more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track. I can feel it. So follow your instincts. All right then. So wait, is it this that that's where because she found the because she didn't change her testimony even though she should have. That's is it this she found it on the floor?
Objection.
No. Yeah, face the screen door. I pressed that, yeah, I pressed that. Figure the pocket will be found without. Hold on, let's see. There's this tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here. Look, I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting time. In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch, he probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course. Which could mean that there's a small part of that watch that's still at the scene, maybe. Yeah. How does the signboard? How does it change? Yeah, I got it. Has to be the watch because I got the watch. I just got the watch with something. I don't know. Let's try it on this one.
Objection.
Oh, it was that. Okay. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh? At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, he discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that nice that it's not taking what he slammed. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Order. But counsel, the watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock. Yeah, which is just when we heard that gunshot. It is exactly the hour. The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection.
Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection.
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what the Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used to wind up it out every evening without fail, and when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub, said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Oh, so he rounded. So he basically that's not really entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, he wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock following the day. Oh, aye. Well, how do you explain that? Explain it then. In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean. But what would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? He was already dead. The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Order! Counsel, that is the most extraordinary claim.
Objection.
Extraordinary is in the world. It's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? Well, on that subject, there is something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right. Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hand on a dirty great puddle of blood. Yes. So the victim's blood hadn't dried. So it was fresh. He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection.
It wasn't blood. But that blood could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body.
Objection.
Gotta prove it. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? Ah. Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human or animal. The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example. It's certainly possible that it wasn't the instructor's blood at all.
Objection.
But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. It is. Is it though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all? Oh, please. What are you trying to say? Us know what we heard, and it was loud bang that came from their room. Now, you listen to me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. Eh? Explain yourselves then, counsel. A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with this. We did this before.
Take that.
Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot. Good gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness. Now hold on a minute. Are you saying that I did it? No. My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway. See? Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. Are you trying to suggest that somebody set one of these fireworks off at the scene? Suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection.
But even the accused himself testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Barack Fancy. Once whiff of a match, my firecrackers go pop. See, it's why people like them. I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection.
Just recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called time bomb. Good heavens, a time bomb? Yes, a device that allows you to blow up wherever you like, whenever you like. Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead you to yet another international incident. Ah, no, wait. It's the whenever you like part that's important. A time device. Yes, exactly. A time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create a gunshot sound? Uh-oh. Time device. Oh, it's probably the candelabrum.
Take that.
Yeah, as the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown off. Indeed, because it was struck by a bullet, which presumably passed through the victim. No, I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle, but only at point blank. There are. Goodness, yes, but is it not the case? that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet. And yes, exactly, that's why. If it was on him, how could it be on the candle? Bullet entry around the bullet entry wound? That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range. A matter of centimeters from the gun. Ah! Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks? How can that be, eh? The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and its firecracker were joined together. Oh, and yeah, and see, and basically, oh, and basically when the candle burning, and after the killer left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, and until eventually ignited the fuse and the firecrackers, generating a loud and that is how these three witnesses came to believe they heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock. Well, what a plot. And that implies the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe, the previous day even. Now, just hold on to your horse. Hold your horses. All of us lot here saw the victim go into the building, remember? I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair. That's true, even if I wanted to. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Obviously, anybody else can wear a wig. So the person that the witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could have easily have been someone else entirely, wearing the red hairpiece. Someone else? Do you mean to say it was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick? In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Huh? Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of a time of death in the report. Stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Huh? What are you playing at? Order! Prosecutor Ostogi. What on earth do you mean by that statement? I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today, so we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. The defense assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopwatch is just conjecture, but while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have the duty to explore it. Well, certainly. I will agree with you. And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard. Even within the yard. However, considering the evidence we presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent that the case the man was pursuing. Wouldn't you, my learned friend? I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating. Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believe they can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Mr. Gregson at the time of his death. Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence suggests that the case being investigated by the inspector on the date prior to the incident? It's the thing, the clipping. We present the signboard.
Take that!
I can't say that I find your answer suggestive of anything in particular, other than perhaps it is utterly wrong. That much you have clarified most. Uh-oh. Nope.
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable. Yes, that's quite true. It would have definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except that that is in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League. So you'd already worked it out. What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen? The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception. A deception of what nature, Council? They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once. 2 redheads. Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece. So it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events. I was in my bag. I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least. The prosecution will make an immediate arrangements for the charge meant to appear. Bring these 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Prosecutor Asogi. At once, my lord. Very good. We will have 30-minute recess. The court is adjourned. Or Karma and Twist of Karma and Last Bow. Last bow. Second November. Second November. Hold on. Oh, there you are, Odo. What kept you, my dear fellow? Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Gina. You sure about what you said in there? That the boss, you know, actually died the day before. It's pretty hard to swallow. Yes, I was shocked by the revelation too, Gina. As was I, possibly more shocked than both of you. It's not a competition, Mr. Sholmes, but I was more shocked than all of you put together. This is the autopsy report. A question, is it? Yes, it's strange that there's no time of death noted. I suppose there's no simple explanation, or perhaps it was a deliberate omission. Oh dear. if it was deliberate. It puts me in the mind of the last. It puts me in the mind of the last case we worked on, and Dr. Scythe. I know. Anyway, it seems that on the day before Lord Vances had discovered his body, Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, so perhaps something happened with them. Can't come to think of it. You had trouble with those League men too, didn't you, Mr. Sholmes? You were taken in by their trick. No. Naturally, I wasn't taken in, as you put it. My sleuthhound interest was merely piqued slightly by the rare set of a weekly 4-pound income. And that scent masked the underlying scent of deception, I suppose. The two criminals in question are the pair we saw being arrested yesterday, didn't we? Aren't they? In Mr. Stone's suite, I mean. That's right, Suze. And it was me what took him in. Thanks to a tip-off by a good law-abiding citizen. Indeed, it's yours truly. So it's going to be that pair in the witness stand next, is it? Something doesn't quite make sense to me, though. That day before Inspector Gregson was found, you hadn't had trouble with the Red-Headed League yet, had you? Why would the inspector have been investigating them? Well, the likely explanation would be that Gregson's own sleuthhound interest was piqued by the rare scent of a weekly 4-pound income. Don't tar him with the same brush as you, Sholmes. Yes, well, Sholmes, he's dead. Mr. Sherlock, Hurley, he's dead. He died, man. Then there's the whole issue of Inspector Gregson being investigated by Lord Vancy for some reason. The Reaper, the Red-Headed League, the Inspector Gregson, Lord Vancy's, and Kazuma. I feel as though he knew about that we'd arrive at this point somehow. Gosh, I think you're right. What's he really trying to achieve here today? All the answers will soon be revealed. Observe the time, my dear fellow. This research will be over very shortly. Yes, you're right. Cosmo was determined that he should be the one to prosecute this trial, and he was determined that I should take defense. Just what is it that he's hoping to make me see, I wonder? I get the feeling we're a long way from the end of this trial yet. Are you ready then, Mr. Sato? Yes. Oh, he's back in the stand? Oh, yes, this is. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Vera Vanslings, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Osogi. My lord? Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, 2 members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the 2 men into the courtroom. Eating some spaghetti. These 2 men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may admit your occupations, but state your names for the canal for the court. I am Fabien de Rousseau, Fabien de Rousseau, a descendant of the great de Rousseau family, next to me, from Nice, en France. And my name is Peppino de Rossi. Peppino. I am the 3rd son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli. The 2 men first became acquainted at a boarding school from European nobility. Those who graduate from Temis are the future leaders of Europe. But do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with noble blood? Alois, I make my mission to get the better of the world by influencing the little gray cells of my brain. That is all I'm trying to do. So, That's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out? You could say that. You're bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. The strange combination is a charm of the hilarious brothers. Si capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Eh? Che? Are you about to tell me your grandy anecdotes? Eviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, we are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello. There it is. The capo's trumpet card. The furrowed brow. It is deep. Capo, the furrow, and the meaning of your words. The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true? Oui, c'est ça. And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud? Alors, I will explain it. No, Capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both have the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The Capo here, Capo means boss, by the way. He was many times behind the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. Hey, those dogs! One day the wolves will respect us, redheads. Every night, he would bury his head in his pillow. Says bien, Peppino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper's advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same name notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw the notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled to the Red-Headed League. Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. You have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you can receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at the park, specified in the advertisement. And from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money to France, it was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I've stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick. The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coaster's own orange barrel. And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face to face with every single person present that day. I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See. And now, every time I see the Capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. De Rosso and Mr. De Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. But of course, oh la la. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Eh, Capo? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. Allora, the victim has nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You've given your sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? Oui. I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like that nice. like I just came to the park. This I can promise. I must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances. Eh? Uffa. With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh? He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. Records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, red-headedly, undercover. Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, yeah? Eh? That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the red-headed fleet, which means it's quite possible that when he was, that's when he was killed. Very well. Defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Ah, yes, my lord. Cross-examination. The man in the photograph. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. I don't recall the man in the photograph.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar. No, I don't think so. And this was a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people. Says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face. Oh no, Signor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park. But he's not going to give the court a definite it seems. Hey, Capo? You don't see the man like this, huh? No, I don't remember. I probably, obviously, he is dead now. But I assure you, he was not in the park. He was not in. But according to what you said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day. That's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present? Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it's nice. But if there was some other information you could give us, maybe we could recall. That is not the line, Peppino. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact. Huh? Yes, there was a man with a red hairpiece, but as much as it did not match the color, that I do not think I could have forgotten him. Kazuma said this would only been shown that photograph had been told, and they've been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim, for example? Holy, wait. Why they no. Okay. Oh, his name. Yeah, I certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. What if I told you that the man's name was Gregson? The man in the photograph is Monsieur Gregson. Yes. Names, they are boring. I do not listen to any of them. Oh. That was not a real interview, just for a show. Why if I remember the names? This is just changing nothing. Okay, not the name. Yeah. Not interview. Okay, what about his? I certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember the situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hairpiece was actually a detective? The man is a photograph? A detective? Yes. It would appear that he found your notice in the papers, suggested and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, let's just change it. Not. Oh, nope.
Excuse me.
Hold on. Detective. Something to add, Mr. DeRossi? Che? See? I'm always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper. What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance? Eh? What did he just to say about the detective? Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Pepino. You have said enough already. You have said enough. But the why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. What? Good lord. Order, order, order. Explain this volte face in your testimony, witness. It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. Madai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, eh? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. But basta. Capo, basta. You beat me out of many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's the time to eat the pasta, no one is a faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way. So shut up.
Objection.
Ugh. Trope Todd. The damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. There was a man who came to the park and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photographs. He was someone else. How can you be sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was clean shaven, his eyes were sadder. Ah, I know exactly who it is. Yeah, no resemblance whatsoever then. Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the office precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo here, he doesn't take a no nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean an official police official identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord. It's counsel. No incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake. Certo, Capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh? And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoyed. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his paper from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico. And look. Look, here's the identification. So you stole it from the man. He had it coming. He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not the one who he said that he was. I'm losing it. Hold on. I need some spaghetti. Pasta. Meatballs. However, I believe that, hold on. I did some. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it will be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into evidence. But I like it them. Now let's return to the witness's testimony. So what is this? Not sure how for this part. Well, I'm supposed to see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it? Out of interest, what name is giving? Probably just something plucked out of Hugh Boone. It's Tobias Gregson. Huh? Wait, what? The Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me, but how? And the department identification number details are all correct as well. Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say? I know it seems incredible, but yes, I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all. Now let's return to witness step. Okay. Yeah, nothing. Maybe it's this good that we new information. Like, no, you did though.
Objection.
Yeah. No, but this is Gregson. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why, Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection.
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. Hold it. It is real. That is the boss's. No question about it. It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zodalors! I think he's a Zut is damn, so you think he's a damn you. Damn then? Wait, that doesn't seem right. Oh, it's like, okay, it's like, okay, gosh darn it. It's like, okay, more like gosh darn it. Like, gosh, order. But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always down on me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say. Could it be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Physically? Hey, what are you saying? Unable to? You're not suggesting? Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! That makes sense. Because he wouldn't lose if he would have reported it. But he didn't report it, so must be a reason. The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that? I know nothing. I done nothing. Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master of the criminals than that, no? Now I wish I'd have returned to Italia. Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise, look. Lummy, stop your whining and start talking. Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in a considerably great detail. I know nothing. I done nothing. Yo, but you will tell everything or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. For crying out loud. Ah, for crying out loud, man. The detective and the identification. See, the truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did our no harm, and the next moment we let him go. He spent the night there in a nice room. It was nothing like a prison, really. Woo. Woo. The room next to yours, where? This is outrageous. You imprisoned the man. So you kidnapped him. You kidnapped him. But no, see, no. It was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Hey, Capo? It was never part of my plan. I swear. So you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I get the date that was very wrong. By one little day. I do not think that was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Por favor, Capo. It's not affair. You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof. I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? How could he have been a real detective? Counsel of defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in his parents' hideout. But the truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at a secret hour. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day just in case. We took the man's identification and shut him in a room next to ours.
Hold it!
That being this identification book here, correct? See, that is the one. What made you believe that it was for forgery? I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be a fossil. Aye, Capo? It is just as Peppino has said. I said, we were convinced it was not genuine. And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made a preparation to transfer all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound, huh? In for a penny, in for... There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Buff, it was nothing. Just a minor incident. That false inspector, he was a real piece of the work. Hey, Capo, what happened? Oh fuck, it was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator. Can you blame him? We chased him, the Ansora, and we caught him again. Can you blame us? Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you? Soot, who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught all of him again and took him back to this.
Excuse me.
Mr. Rossi, is something wrong? Hey, me? Something Mr. DeRosa say seemed to make you, I'm Mr. Detective. That something Mr. Rossi says that seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. Well, what was that all about? Follow, I thought like this. You don't want to have. I thought like that. You don't want to have the walk. Believe me. When I speak from a personal personal experience, that is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say any more. That the truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away, and then it's a shame you didn't manage it. But the capo here, he came after me like at the turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming, and I should still have the bruises to prove it. Hey, capo? Bruises, you say? Oh! Hey, you want to see, huh? You want to see my fantastical bruises? We saw someone else with the same bruises. That is enough now, Pettino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What to do? What to do, huh? I show you, or I don't. I show you, or I don't. You do now. Allora, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? It's still a very visible, eh? It's not someone else with that mark. Sorry. Cracking up a little one. No, it's a Sprite Zero Chill. The grocery store guy has some in stock, so I bought a case. Echo, you see, it's still a very visible, eh? That red ring around your neck. You got that when you were dragged back to the house? See, the capo sometimes he is a very rough, and I said that's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, Counsel? About this red ring around Mr. DeRossi's neck? I wonder, does it matter? It's important. Mr. Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with detail about that mark on your neck. Hi, Capo, you see, everyone is interested in what I say, huh? Very well, we will amend your testimony requested, Mr. Rossi. See, if you really want to know. He tried to escape, but the Capo put the... No, you see, it's this one. There's no 9 on his neck. I'm gonna save just this. Yes, that person he saw was not Gregson. It wasn't Gregson. But we know, well, the game doesn't know that we know that, but we know that it wasn't Gregson because he said he was shaved, and Gregson obviously has a beard in that picture, being shaven.
Objection.
Yeah. So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was a implementation to say it was only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, Counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck. Eh? But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning, and I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have. Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim who was put on the collar more recently than Mr. DeRossi. Indeed, that is more peculiar. But what did we tell you, huh? Huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. we, Pepino on the site. There's a man in the photograph. He's somewhat different since the man we have captives that night. What? Well, no, we know that. Order! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as the incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all.
Objection.
If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that insertion itself. Ah! And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day. Which surely means that we can't divorce the two events completely. The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson whom these two red-haired gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some possible explanation, counsel? The whole thing defies explanation. It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruto, because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie. No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible, it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned it up in the park for the Red-Headed League enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious. Very well, very tantalizing, Mr. Naruto. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you have apparently seen? Who exactly is this inspector that appeared before Mr. DeRosso and Mr. DeRossi? It's an imposter. Sus! Oh, I'm totally calling this. I'm calling this part Among Us. Among Us. Among Us. Among Us. An imposter. Though it seems like incredible, I admit the undeniable facts point out to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time.
Objection.
No. On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There is no bruising on the victim's neck. So the question that immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification? See, that's right. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him in from a pillar to a post with a dog collar. Bon Dio, Papio, it was not as so harsh as you say, huh? So who was that the false inspector, eh? Who was he? Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post haste. Who did the witness encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? Oh, it's easy. It's this guy. You can see it on his neck.
Take that!
Goodness me. Isn't that one of the witnesses who was in the stand in this very courtroom earlier today? A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passersby.
Objection.
What on earth would a street seller be doing with the police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not? What's that? What has happened to his lip? Huh? See, this man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He is looking for the Twisted Lip League, no? Perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noticed something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising. Eh? What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossip be brought back to the stand. Order, order, bailiff! Bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom immediately. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising. And identical to that of the witness beside him. Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this on me. I've always had this on me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you. Something about that unexpected again. But I'm telling you, you are wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it. Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back at Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. Rosso and Mrs. Rossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We're in a bigger trouble, eh, couple? That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. Take that! Inspector identification revisited. The man who came to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Is right. See, you think we would have forget these grand lips, huh? I was wondering about that. I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I have no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I have no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Look like I carry off a disguise with a face like this. Oh, unless this is a disguise, or it would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony. That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come to buy a police inspector's identification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but a brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. The man who came to be inspector today was definitely not this man. That's right. See, you think we forget this grand lift, huh? I believe first is right. No one's been able to leave. First that one. So you heard of the Red-Headed League, and had you? You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. So that tasted to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got sandwiched a cop up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts. Who knows? Well, as you can see, my own hair is not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me signing off to some other part of town. No, sir. No, sir, not likely. Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
You got an issue with that? Mr. DeRosso. Russo. Yeah, Russo. Did Mr. Gothic word just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. Small house or something. It'd be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What? Mr. Joseph with a housing agent? He has some kind of contract in his hand, like they were clearly discussing terms. But no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno, me. Like I said before, you were mistaking me for someone else. Someone was the same.
Objection! 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 Hold it! Objection! 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 Objection!
Oops, sorry, I pressed like the scene of the very crime we're investigating. Thank you. Yes, that's right. Okay, I'm not gonna stop pressing thing. I must have pressed delete. Yes, that's right. A place from which I can emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler and transfer myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth did you just tell us in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. Oh, whoa, he has 2. I didn't know that. He didn't say that. And without self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them? That's cowardice, man. Yes. I made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence a piece, no way you should have been able to afford that. You couldn't have hoped to match the salary you must have commanded as a chief warder at the prison. Very true. But I've kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of someone misbegotten employment. Unscrupulous methods. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I had become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. And from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. Secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Orksy tomorrow. Take the statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. Oh, so basically he was like he was like a giga undercover cop, or inspector. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially. Scotland Yard inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive. That, as I'm sure you not point out, is a very that's entrapment. Or I think, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? Why is it? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me of me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Visual, I need you to your solemn word. You don't blah 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 this to anyone, all right? Ever. Even if, well, if I end up a croaker. In the time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Lime Street was really, yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise, and then went as instructed to the park armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Hmm. But yeah, this means it wasn't thing. Hmm. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Ah, explain yourself, Prosecutor Sogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location the day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed league men when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally. We have theory. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la France. Merci, Monsieur de la France, for proving it. What? Ah! Order, order, order! Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. No, but the watch. See, I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Huh? Kazuma? Hold it! Wait, pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, counsel? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago. The execution of the professor, Genshin Asogi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh, answer me, man. One moment, counsel. Is this related to the current case? Not naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, counsel? Kazuma, you're not yourself. You're not as calm as collected as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting like this way. Mr. Vigil's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Asogi's last moments, his own father. I know. I do understand that, but even so. Prosecutor Asogi. Do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Gregson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. Then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten. I'm sorry to say, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Oh, that's a lie. No. That so we already know that's okay. So there's the first thing he resigned. That's not true. He was fired. But for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job, yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigil's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. which is why we have the tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry? The human spirit. I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When you experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, that fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't. Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vigil claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to her. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? Remember what he said. No matter, remember what Shom said. Remember what it does or how damaging it may be. Hold on to the truth. Like a dog to a bone. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Ah, well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Because that's not true. You got fired. Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice. And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as a chief warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. The dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been some good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on the 17th June 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at the Barclay prison. The 17th of June? Was that the professor's execution? Sir, as you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life? In the cemetery in the middle of the night, there was a witness. Enoch Drebber, however, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, he was shot. A gunshot rang out from over his shoulder. Shot in the wind. It was Lord Strongheart. It was Strongheart who shot him. It pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must have known the truth about what really happened. It's in your head somewhere, deep down. Well, Chief Warder Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th June 10 years ago, and now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? He's gonna crash out. He can't handle it. Yes, the whole prison. It was complete chaos. His eyes glazed over. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through the Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. that memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch River. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I reviewed the police records from that time. Okay, so Cosmo knows that his dad was most likely innocent, and then just got, and then it was basically like a fall guy. And through investigation, a thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes, and I was suspecting of doing it, of using that mass murder execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. On one evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. He's spiraling. I'm so sorry, Daly. This is a serious business, but I cannot help you now. As chief warder, you are responsible for overseeing the execution of 4, eh? Well, it seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want you to have a few wee words with you about it. Canada posting? You better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Guillotine, the professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life. Oh, he jumped out the window? It's over. He jumped out the window. Oh my gosh. Ah! He jumped. So he tried to kill himself, I guess. Order. Bailiff, fetch the doctor at once. Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. Yeah. That's why I didn't want to stop yet.
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
Why are these things being voiced now?
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer,
Yep.
appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Cosima, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events
Yep.
was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Please maxing. To be continued. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, of course we're gonna say. But that, I think that is a good stopping point for now. So I'm gonna call it here. But before I go, as always, if you like what you saw, please consider leaving a like. Follow me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky for bad tweets, stream updates, and everything in between. And hopefully, I will see you in the next stream. Bye bye. Bye bye.